Hi everyone, my name is Daisy. I am an animator and an illustrator. Today's video is very late. I was wondering whether or not to even post it, but then I decided, you know what, let me upload this video for you guys. It's definitely not a video that I would create normally, uh, but today we're at the bookstore. I decided to go to the bookstore, and I really wanted to sketch in this bookstore because all of like the really cute aesthetics and well, I wouldn't say cute aesthetics, but I love the aesthetics in here. And there's a lot of little cats, a lot of things to see. It's a very small bookstore, but it's very packed with books and other little things here and there. But here I decided to sketch this little cat, and for this sketchbook session, I thought I was going to be sketching a lot. I thought these sketches were going to come out wonderful. I was having like all these wonderful inspirations, all these ideas, but then all of a sudden, when I started to sketch, things were not turning out very well. And that's kind of what this video is about, because I thought today was going to be like a really perfect day for sketching, and I thought I was going to have a lot of like creativity flowing. But yeah, that was not this day, and that's kind of what this video is just about. So I'm gonna walk you through the sketches that I did, and we're just gonna talk about sketching, and that's about it. After the bookstore, came back home and started to paint, and I thought, this time around, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try to see what I can come up with, and I had this idea. And I did reference off of the photo, or not the photo, but the video that I took there at the bookstore of the cat that was sitting out the window. So I wanted to do something like that. And I had this idea to, put the books in a sort of like a pyramid, and then maybe have like a little mouse on the side, and then the cat is sleeping. But as I started to paint, for some reason I just did not like the colors that I was using. Things were starting to look a little bit funny. I didn't like the composition at all, and it was too much. I think for this size of like this idea, I think this idea definitely needed to be completed on a bigger scale, and a sketchbook was just not it. But I still like the idea. I don't think I'm gonna go for the idea anymore. I think whatever happened in my sketchbook is gonna stay that way, and I'm not gonna go back because I don't know. I think I'm over it. I'm over that idea now. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what happens sometimes. It's like you have this really great idea and you try to, make it happen, and it doesn't go as planned, and you sort of have to sometimes just scratch that whole idea. So this is kind of one of those times where I was just like, I'm not going to try this one again. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I might do something similar later on in the future. Something about the library, something about a bookstore and books with the little figure. I don't know. But yeah, this is how it turned out. And then after that, I decided to move on with another painting of these flowers. And again, I don't know, for some reason all of my color theory, it just went out the window. I have no idea why, but the colors didn't turn out that great for me. It wasn't as vibrant as I wanted it to be. I wanted to go for more like cute look, but then I don't know, for some reason I started to step into more of like the realism, and then I was like, wait, that's not what I'm going for. And then I sort of just forgot what it is that I was like trying to achieve in this painting. So yeah, this was not one of those great ones. It looks very plain. The colors look very dull. Yeah, there's just so many things that just went wrong with this one. But again, it was just not my day for me to be painting or sketching, and that kind of just happens. And because again, I am trying to paint or sketch every single day in my sketchbook, these things do happen often. Sometimes, things wound up looking a little ugly, and this is one of those days where all three of my sketches and little paintings, they look like poop. But yeah, I wanted to be real with you guys, and I wanted to share with you guys my ugly side of the sketchbook and that process, how the whole process goes down. Because, you know, not all of us share the ugly parts of our sketchbook on social media. But yeah, this is kind of something that happens to us as artists where things just look a little bit funky, and it's okay because it's in our sketchbook, and that's what sketchbooks are for. They're meant to experiment. They're not meant to be all nice, pretty, and aesthetic. Um, Although we would love that to be every single time when we do draw or when we do paint our sketchbook. Who wouldn't love that? Who wouldn't love for our sketchbook to be like really nice and pretty? But yeah, these are just some of the works that I wanted to share with you guys that just look a little bit funny, and I can't wait to do a sketchbook tour of this one. I think that's probably the most exciting part about like a sketchbook is like going through, flipping through all the sketches, and then also like you're able to connect the memory that you had of that sketch to like that moment in time as well. I think that's also one of my favorite parts about sketching, because I'm someone that definitely doesn't take pictures, but I do love to sketch specific memories or specific places or tangible items, and then I connect it to like a memory. But yeah, this is one of those sketches right here of the bookstore. So I wanted to like really do an exterior of the bookstore and an interior, but after the exterior wound up so funny looking and wonky, I was just like, scratch that, I'm not gonna do an interior. That's enough for the day. But yeah, this one definitely did turn out wonky. Usually when I'm doing either an interior or an exterior, I like to eyeball my measurements, and I like to really take time to observe what it is that I'm sketching, because there are so many angles, there's so many little details in buildings. And my biggest mistake before starting this sketchbook was not paying close attention to the angle of the building and really observing that whole building and just every detail, and like how many windows it had, what was the length of the door, what was the length of the window, where did things intersect, where did things meet. And usually I would do that, but for this time around I just completely forgot about doing that whole step. And I also realized during this moment where like I was messing up so many times, I also realized that in my gouache painting, I also forgot to sketch my idea out before I started to paint. So that's another thing that I usually do, is I always sketch either a few circles, a few lines, so that I can like mark where I want things to be. Because in gouache you can like cover up those lines, because gouache is thick, so you're able to cover up that first sketch. But yeah, these are just things that just completely went out of my brain, and I tend to forget sometimes when I'm sketching. One thing that I definitely was happy about was the colors that I was using in this sketch, and I was also really loving the style of using like a sepia brown type of ink with watercolor. I definitely want to do that again. And then I also want to try out some different colors for my line art as well when I'm doing watercolors. So I definitely was happy about that. But this is how the sketch turned out, and I will see you guys in the next one.